Hello, Luna. Hi, Rufus. Well, here we are, another Monday morning. Beautiful day today, beautiful blue sky and nice warm weather. A few very base clouds in the sky, cirrus clouds, I think. So a nice bright day today. Of course, a nice day, but also Monday morning, so it's not a building day today. Builders work from Tuesday when they work, when weather permits. So this is a perfect day for building, but it's unfortunately Chris is at the barangay and Ronnie is not here today. He said he was going to be here, but he's got an issue with his lungs. So I'm not sure if he's going to be here tomorrow even. We'll see. Some of you in the Western world are sort of saying, oh, but you should now put the foot down, crack the whip. This isn't going fast enough, the house build. And yeah, I understand your thinking, but actually, that's not how it works in this part of the world, guys. You've got to understand that. I know we think Western ways are best. Actually, they're not. Western ways are good at spending lots of money, overpaying to get things done. But in this part of the world, culture is very slow. I think I've always said that from the beginning. Over the last couple of years, I've seen it, I've experienced it, and I've gone through that process. To survive here, you have to slow down. And if you don't slow down, you'll go nuts. You'll give yourself a heart attack. You'll give yourself a major problem in your health. You've got to just go with the flow and be realistic. Things will progress, things will happen nicely, and you'll be fine. But as long as you're here around it, and it, you can get into it. I mean, I'm, sitting here. Yeah, sure, it'd be lovely to be in the property now. Of course it would, but we're not far away now, and we've just got to go with the flow and get it done in as many months as it takes, and that's it. What we're building is worth waiting for, and that's the point. So we could put more builders into it, but that could cause disruptions, between people. So letting Chris and his small team that he has hand selected with Richie is the best approach, in my view. And we'll break through it. Richie gets frustrated also and threatens putting more people on and changing that. And I said to her, if I listen to yourself and think about the vibe and the bad vibe that will create. No, let's go with what we've set out to do. The days that they can build here, okay, if they have no interruptions from the barangays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Saturday they will do as an extra, usually. Like last Saturday they did. But it's what's disrupted us as much as anything has been health of some of the builders over the last few months, weather, including typhoons, and Tatai's passing. All these events that took weeks out of our plans. So that's what we've got to be aware of, and we must be realistic for those things as well. If I, look at our situation in the Philippines and compare it with other countries in the world, well, let me just compare it with the UK. We can't compare. We're a different culture, a different structure, a different cost structure. I mean, I would criticise the UK more. I'd say in the UK, people pay far too much for everything, far too much. The cost of everything is costing too much. And that's why the state of the UK is as poor as it is in terms of infrastructure and cost. You know, it's just, look at how we've tried to build a high-speed rail link. We've been talking about it for decades. We've been planning it for decades. It's cost us money, billion, you know, I mean, and it's still a long way from being completed. If it ever gets completed, you know, when you look at the Chinese, they get it done fast and quick. You know, they there's the price, get it done. In our case, there's the price this year, there's the price next year, there's the price in 5 years, and we still haven't got it off the ground, but we're throwing money at talking about it. What is better? You know, while we've been talking about it, China's built a network across their entire country, as large as Europe, of rail links, fast, high-speed rail into all the cities in China. That's a fact. From when we started planning our high-speed rail link between north and south, China's planned and built a network across their country as large as Europe, you could say. That's what they've done. That works, that's going, that's been operating now for a few years. It hasn't just opened, it started a few years ago as well. So, I don't think the UK is in a very good position to advise on how things should be done from a construction point of view. Yeah, people say you can't run a business like that, Simon. Of course you can't run a business like that. I wouldn't even dream of running a business like this. Start when you want, finish when you want, have as many days off as you... Of course I wouldn't. I mean, yeah. And I wouldn't dream of it. But we're not running a business. We're running a retirement. And it's about this journey of what we're doing. As long as what we do is right and good, that's what's important here. You know, we haven't got... We're using our family resources. We're using ourselves in design. We're using ourselves in materials sourcing. We're using... Think about how we're building this house. We haven't gone out and... We haven't taken large amounts of money from the bank to invest in it. We haven't gone and we haven't put life savings into it. We haven't... So we're spending money as we need it on materials. We're sourcing materials as we need them. We're buying some more bamboo again soon. You know, actually, buy another load of bamboo, because obviously we're going to get the banister, yeah, round the terraces front and back, and some inner walls we're going to do with we're also going to do with bamboo as well as gypsum board in some areas. So yeah, so I mean, this is a home project. You know, it's not one where we've agreed a plan with someone to do it for us. We're doing it ourselves, from the progress of planning it, costing it out, sourcing it ourselves, material, the whole thing we are doing ourselves. So going slow teaches us certain things as well. If we hadn't have been as slow as we were in some aspects of it, we wouldn't have discovered defects in the roof which we had to fix, for example. If we would have been speedy, it would have all gone up and we wouldn't have noticed it because it would have been covered up before it had been completed. So that would have been it. It would have been a problem. As it so happens, we spot these things based on the speed we are going, and that makes a significant difference for us. So yeah, but it's also the emphasis I want to make is on the culture here. I think one of the most difficult things foreigners are going to find when they come here is the pace, is the slowness of getting things to happen, things to work, in the province in particular I'm talking about. You've got to just learn to slow. People think they know how to slow down in the West. They don't. They haven't got a clue really how to slow down. You've got to come to a place like this and adapt to it over, say, 6 months, and then you realise what I'm talking about. But you can't think, oh yeah, I'll just slow down, and think just by doing things a bit slower is all it is. There's more to it than that. How you think, how you live, genuinely, it's a big, big task to do. So, yeah, that's my view on this process. I'm not. Do I look stressed out? Not at all. Not at all. I know some of you also say time. Time is of the essence, Simon. You're old. You haven't got many years. You want to get the thing finished so you can be in it, as it were. Yeah, a time is a precious commodity at our age. Well, it's a precious commodity at any age. And you've seen you may not have seen my videos on time and how valuable an asset I regard time. And that's why my life is what it is. That's why I don't waste my time in locations for too long before I make the decision and move. I was watching a video the other day where people who have a desire to move from the UK, for example, or move from their home Western country to a place in the sun in a much more real relaxed fashion, be it Southeast Asia, be it South America. But they always use an excuse, is that they're not quite ready. They need to, just earn that little bit more, or they'll just retire early, or they'll put it off by another year, or they'll do something else, or they're considering some health issue that they're overcoming first, or there's some other issue, or they've got an elderly parent, or they've got something else. There's always something that gives them a reason not to make that move at that time. But I say to everybody, I said to all the people out there, time is a valuable asset, and we all only have a limited amount of time. So you've got to use your time wisely at what you want to do with it. And if you're happy living in your life, in your lifestyle in the UK, that's fine, because you feel secure with it. That's fine. I understand that process of thinking. You're prepared to tolerate the current crap and nonsense from the government and from society as a whole as it changes, because you are secure in your own little bit of the world in your home country, which you have grown so accustomed to. You may not like everything about it. You may complain about it. You may find it intolerable to live in sometimes, but you're prepared to deal with it that way and be in your own home of being secure in it. And I understand that. I don't have any issue with that. That's fine. I'm not that. I have to have a change. I have to have something a little bit more different and exciting, at least every decade. Sometimes sooner, sometimes less. So, it's all a question of opportunity and time, but I don't try not to miss opportunities. I don't think, well, I should have taken that job in Australia, or I should have taken that job in South Africa, or I should have taken that job in the Middle East, or I should have taken that job in China, or whatever I've done, or I should have taken that opportunity to retire in the Philippines. All these things I should have done, but I didn't do. I stayed in the UK, for example. If I was if I was my age now, 70, hadn't been to South Africa, hadn't been to Poland, I'm talking about where I was living, hadn't been to the Middle East, to Kuwait, to United Arab Emirates, to Saudi Arabia, hadn't been to the Far East, to China, haven't retired in the Philippines, if I hadn't done any of these things, I was still in the UK and having a holiday every year or couple of years, if I could afford it, I would be thinking to myself now, what if I'd gone there? What if I'd have gone there? But I don't think like that because I've done those things. I've been on those journeys. Some of the experience were great in some of those times, and some were, there were good days and bad. So yeah, I'm very aware of time, and I hold time as probably the key valuable asset, if you like, I have. As long and as short as it may be, it is more important than money or anything else. Time. So using that time wisely to do what you need to do with it in your own way with the people around you. And that's very key. And also sharing that thinking with your people around you as well, so they can gain the benefit of your wisdom on your view and feeling on time. I think that's key. I've reached this age in my life where sharing is more important than holding on to things. Some people, they get to retirement and they say, well, this is my time now to enjoy myself. I've worked hard all my life, and I've now going to enjoy what years I have left. Well, if you haven't enjoyed your life up to that point in time, I feel a bit sad for you. I feel a bit sorry for you, to be quite honest. I mean, my view on life is this. I've reached that age. I'm retired. Yeah, I'm doing my own. I still have the buzz to do things. Of course, you probably noted that I have a buzz for seeing concepts and ideas and things. So my brain doesn't turn off from that. Of course it doesn't. I love doing that. So I'm not retiring from that. I'm going to carry on doing that until I'm not here anymore. But what I do differently now is I share as much information as I can with anybody who wants it, anybody who needs it. Anything I can part on someone else who's younger than I am, who can still benefit from thoughts and ideas and things I've learned from, over my life, I'm happy to share them. Free of charge. I don't want any money for it. I'm happy to share them free of charge. If someone wants to give me something, fair enough. I won't turn it down, but it's not about money to me. It's about sharing my time for people who want to hear it, who want to benefit from it. And that's important. That's what us old guys have got to do. Now, I know there are some people who say, well, now this is my time now. So to me, it's just for me. It's a process of selfishness, if you like. You lose this, or I've lost that. When I was young, of course, I was competing with everybody and everything. And it was about, well, this is my life and I'm going to do what. So, go to South Africa, go here, go there, go for that job, go for that opportunity, compete with this opportunity. I'm not competing. I'm not competing with other retirement people who want to do what I do. I'm just saying what I've learned over the 70 years, I'm prepared to part with. You can let other people gain their understanding and knowledge from me if they so wish. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from what I did definitely wrong. Learn from what I did well. Learn how to live. Learn how to live. Learn to have financial freedom. Learn how to cook a good lasagna. Learn how to look after chickens. This is what life is in these final years, let's be real. Learn how to enjoy driving an electric golf cart around the neighborhood here. Yeah. So time is very much an essence. But if you don't change that attitude from the West, you can have a very sad life here, because it won't come up to your expectations at all. It won't. And something else I want to add to that as well is a lot of people here are very surprised. Why would a Westerner want to live in the province? Why would a Westerner want to walk around in his welly boots feeding chickens or taking care of the dogs? Why would he want to? Why isn't he on a beach or in a plush hotel somewhere, or doing something like that, or touring islands, flying everywhere? Because I've done that. I've done all of those things over my life, and I don't have a desire to do them very often now. I mean, of course, I'm not saying we're never going to go on a trip somewhere, because undoubtedly we will once we've got the work done here completed. But that's not what life's about. Life's not about staying in an expensive resort or doing as much traveling as, life's about the whole journey, the whole experience of everything. Hearing the birds sing, hearing someone playing their music too loud over in that direction somewhere. That's what life is about. And once you'd realize you don't have to rush anywhere, go anywhere, spend a fortune to get all the value of life, then you stop. You don't need to do it. Making your wife happy. That's the key. Having an honest, open view on everyone around you. I think many Filipinos, they think, you want to live here. They get stunned by people, particularly those that are living in Canada or living in UK or living in Australia or USA. I've got to tell you guys, I think this is far better. This is a much better lifestyle, far superior lifestyle to living in any of those countries. We're fooling ourselves if we think it's better in the UK or it's better in Canada. If you've got opportunity to live in this country is by far better, because you're living in a fool's paradise in these other places. This is the real life. This is real life taking place around us here. Food, excitement, disappointment,